Well guys, we're starting to get into that late summer, early fall time of the year. This is a very unique time of the year. You can find a lot of fish in bigger schools this time of the year. Now, you may think that I'm talking about finding schools deep and off the bank and offshore, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm actually talking about fishing shallow. It's August. This is the hottest part of the year, and it doesn't really make sense. There's a huge population of bass that really starts to be very catchable up shallow, and that's exactly what I wanted to do today when I got to the lake. I got as far up a creek as I could. I idled over a big flat. It dropped down. The thing about fishing shallow during this time of the year, especially if you're fishing way up a creek or way up a river on the body of water that you are fishing, is that sometimes you're gonna have a little bit of movement in that water, and typically what you have is a ton of shade. You know, in these small creeks, they're lined with trees, and that shade and that moving water will actually bring that water temperature down a couple of degrees. It can be great during that late summer, early fall. A lot of times it gets extremely tough to catch fish on the main lake, towards the dam of the lake that you're fishing. So if you go way up the creeks, you can find schools of fish actually relating to the bank in certain sections. We have off-color water, so a lot of times you can power fish in those situations. I wanted to keep it simple. I picked a square bill crankbait, a chatterbait, and a jig.
Yes, sir. That was a lot of fun. I know it's not huge, guys, but that's a solid little keeper for the reservoir that I'm fishing today. Really, it only takes about 8, 9, 10 pounds to win here, so a solid keeper here. I'm gonna let that guy go. But
so that first bite that I got was really interesting because I had been flipping and pitching that jig everywhere. And this is just a little homemade jig that I have. You know, it's actually a Boss jig. It's black and blue and purple. And I put a 4-inch black and blue chigger crawl on the back. And I was actually just flipping that bait around the wood cover. And as I was bringing it out of the cover, a fish came up there and grabbed that bait, set the hook, caught it. Chunky little keeper for the reservoir that I'm fishing today. And I knew right then and there that these fish might actually be higher in the water column.
it's all about putting the pieces of the puzzle together, guys. It's probably not a keeper. Pretty close. It might be 12, but this is a key thing too about fishing in late summer is I pitched at this one little lay down that's over here 4 times before I got that bite. 4 times. Just caught another little dink, guys, off of that same piece of cover right there. Of course, I didn't have the camera on quite yet, but there you go. Oh baby, so important to pay attention to the fish. I know, guys, these aren't giants, but I can't tell you how much fun it is. Again, this lake, I mean, 8 pounds this time of the year is a good bag. That's a freaking chunky keeper right there. Just a solid fish. I've now caught 4 fish in a short amount of time, pretty much all keeping this bait high in the water column. I was flipping it, but now I'm actually swimming it just above some of these branches, and these fish are coming up to get it. Awesome, just so awesome. there's another fish. Dude, it is. That is the deal. That is the deal. Gosh, that's so much fun.
So I started to catch more fish out there. Like I talked about, those fish were actually really high in the water column. This is something that you see during this late summer, early fall time frame. You might be flipping and pitching soft plastics against the bank, but these fish, you know, today I was fishing in a lot of 5 and 6 foot of water, but those fish were just a foot or two down. I was keeping that jig where I could see it, visibly see it the entire time, and that's where those fish were.
Oh my gosh, there he was too. I knew he would be in there. Oh God. Get out of there. There we go. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Oh my gosh. Here we go. I'm gonna just keep that jig in my hand, guys. First fish I've caught on the jig that wasn't swimming it. That's a solid chunk for this river that I'm fishing. Golly, I love these fish, man. God, so much fun, guys. How can you not love bass fishing? Just don't get it. Tell you what, I really haven't caught anything today except for off of some sort of wood cover. And I haven't caught any off rock. I haven't really caught any off of the water willow. It's been, you know, wherever there's a piece of wood. I'm gonna go ahead and burn up the bank here until I get around some more wood. Yes, sir. Look at that little short stubby guy. I know the water probably looks muddy to you, but this is cleaner. You know, up there you could only see down probably 2-3 inches. Over here it's probably 5 or 6 inches, and that makes all the difference in the world. Start swimming the jig again and bam, so much fun. Look at that fish. He got like a weird looking tail. Huh. Look how thick it is. Huh. It's like a shark. Oh my gosh. I cannot tell you how much fun this is. These fish are high in the water column, and this is typical for summertime fishing, especially late summer. These fish will really start to suspend. You know, I came up here today kind of thinking I'd be flipping a lot, and that first bite was way up there in the water column. And ever since then, I've just started swimming this black and blue jig and catching these guys. That is a solid little fish for this reservoir I'm fishing. Gotta love it.
Well, as you can see, guys, I really had a blast out there fishing. I know that I didn't catch a lot of big fish for maybe the body of water that you fish. For where I live in Ohio, you know, 1.5 pound, 2 pound fish is a quality fish. You know, I think it just took like 8 or 9 pounds to win a full day tournament on this body of water that I'm fishing. And so these were really chunky quality fish. You might do this on your lake and you might be catching 3 and 4 and 5 pounders if that's the type of caliber of fish that are in your lake. I know guys are gonna ask me about the equipment that I was using today. I was just using probably my favorite rod and reel combo right now. This is an Akumo Psycho Stick. It's a 7-foot 2-inch medium heavy rod. It's a fast action rod. And today I was actually using a braid to fluorocarbon. And the reason I was using braid to fluorocarbon is because I thought I was going to be pitching and flipping a lot more. And I've just been wanting to try to use a braid to fluorocarbon leader in that situation. I'm typically a full fluorocarbon guy when it comes to that, but man, I just go through so much fluorocarbon. I wanted to try that braid to fluorocarbon, and I just left it on while I was swimming that jig, and I caught a ton of fish doing it. There were some things that I really liked about that braid to fluorocarbon. There's some things that I didn't love about it, but I'm definitely gonna do that a little bit more in the future. I was using 50-pound braid to a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader. The reel I was using was also my favorite reel. This is an Akumo Helios SX reel. I was using an 8:1 to 1 gear ratio. I really hope that you try this on your local lake. Get up the creeks as far as you can. You might have to idle a long time, but if you see that where it kind of dips off and you get into that 3, 4, 5 foot of water, there can be big schools of fish in really small areas, and it can be extremely fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Comment below if you have a question, and please subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.